What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back from the video. This time I want to talk about the 2018 draft, a draft class that looking back on it was pretty stacked. You had Luka Doncic, Trae Young, SGA, Colin Sexton, DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson, and a host of other players who have great potential. Now for this video, I want to focus on two players, that being Trae Young and Luka Doncic. Two guys for the rest of their careers who will be linked because in this draft, they were actually traded for each other. And in this video, I want to look back on that trade, who was the winner, who was the loser, and how the overall public's perception has changed over time regarding this trade. Now before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure to do so, and if you could like this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to do in this video is go back to the beginning and look at Luka Doncic and Trae Young. And coming in the 2018 draft, Luka was coming in from overseas, and he was a big-time unknown. Everyone knew he had high potential, but how great could he really be? And at the time, he actually had a lot of doubters in the American basketball community.
That's my takeaway. He doesn't pop athletically.
The athleticism, that's a problem. The lack of athleticism.
Yeah, it doesn't have it.
Doncic at 6'7" will get exposed for all of the inadequacies that Dirk.
He struggled with quick defenders.
Dirk's not a great athlete.
No.
Dirk does have explosive quickness, right?
No.
Dirk isn't physical.
No.
Well, that's what's going to happen to Doncic.
We tend to over-sensationalize European basketball.
He's European, or he's going to be the Dirk. Skip, that's an anomaly.
It sounds like you're saying Luka will not be like a perennial all-star type player.
But if
I am not saying Luka is setting the NBA world on fire. I'm not sure he's going to be a dominating NBA player.
I don't believe he's a lottery pick.
Not a lottery pick.
No, I don't.
Wow.
DeAndre Ayton is going to be the #1 overall pick, but it's incredibly important that the Phoenix Suns don't mess this up. I don't give a damn about how this kid in Europe looks.
I'm not loving what I'm hearing about Luka then.
This kid's a really, he's better than Ricky Rubio, but he doesn't look special to me.
Now, Luka in his rookie year would silence those doubters, averaging 21.2 points per game, 7.8 boards, 6.0 assists, on 43, 33, and 71 splits, and he would receive 98 out of 100 Rookie of the Year votes, winning the award in a landslide. And Dallas this year had a 33 and 49 record, which unfortunately was not good enough to make the playoffs. Now looking at Trae, his NBA journey was a little bit different as he came out of Oklahoma, where he was the sole focus of that offense and basically did everything. And there were big-time question marks for Trae entering this draft. Was he strong enough? Was he physical enough? Could he actually shoot that deep in the NBA? How would defenders treat him? And was he a liability on defense? And I remember after Trae got drafted in the Summer League, he was pretty bad and the hot takes were definitely flying. As in the Summer League, he shot 25% from the floor and 18% from three. And overall, he had a pretty rough start to his NBA career. But it wasn't until about February where he really picked it up, as from that month to the end of the year, he averaged 23.4 points per game, 9.2 assists, 4.7 boards on 43, 36, and 85 splits in a 31-game sample size. So both these players going into their rookie years had doubters, and in the end they proved them wrong, having great rookie seasons. Now looking at 2020, both these players would have breakout years, Luka and Trae both being first-time All-Stars and averaging over 28 points per game. Luka putting up 28.8, 9.4 boards, 8.8 assists, having 17 triple-doubles, the most in the NBA, and Dallas having a 43 and 32 record, which is good enough to make the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Also this year, Luka was first-team All-NBA and finished 4th in MVP voting. Trae in his own right also had a very good year, averaging 29.6 points per game, 9.4 assists, 3.9 boards, while making the 6th most threes in the NBA. But his Hawks team unfortunately only won 20 games and would miss out on their second straight playoff appearance. And that right there is a pretty interesting thing for Trae Young, as at this time, many people thought that he was putting up empty stats on a bad team. And still the big question mark was, could he actually be a winning point guard and a championship caliber player? It was still unknown at that time, but many people thought Trae Young was a very good player, but not a transcendently great player who could lead your team to a championship. Now fast forward looking at 2021, that's where everything would change. As Trae in this playoff run is averaging 30.5 points per game, 10.5 assists, 3.0 boards, on 42, 33, and 87 splits, and he has the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2015. And actually in Game 1 versus Milwaukee, Atlanta got their first ever Eastern Conference win since 1971. And Trae and this Hawks team has come out of nowhere, and they have a legit shot at making the finals and possibly winning it. If you would have told me that 6 months ago, I would have called you crazy. Now looking at Luka in his own right, he had a great playoff run versus the LA Clippers, where he averaged 35.7 points per game, 10.3 assists, 7.9 boards on 49, 41, and 53 splits. And in that Game 7, he scored 46 points, the third most ever in a Game 7. And looking at both Luka and Trae this postseason, they became the first players in NBA history under the age of 22 to have a 45-point, 10-assist game in the playoffs. So both these guys in 2021 have had outstanding years, and their teams for the most part have been winning. But I think the real story of this year has been Trae Young. Even though Luka I think is better than him, I think Trae this year has proven he's a championship caliber point guard and is going to be one of the best players in the upcoming decade. And looking back 3 years ago, when Trae and Luka were rookies, after Luka had a great year and Trae was kind of shaky, the thought at that time was that the Hawks, they were robbed. And even in their sophomore years when Luka was playing great, the overall thought was that the Hawks, they were robbed, and they made a terrible mistake trading for Trae Young. And like I said before, after this playoff run, that has completely changed, and this right here is one of the greatest win-win trades in NBA history, as both teams got the pieces they needed to be championship contenders. And out of the 2018 draft, I think these two guys are clearing away the best players from that draft class, as they're already top 15, top 20 players in the league. And I think Trae right now is a borderline top 5 point guard in the league, just behind Luka. And the way I would break this down as a win-win trade, I would say look at the 84 draft class, where you had a fairly similar thing happen. As in that draft, you had Akeem as the first overall pick, Sam Bowie as the second, and Jordan as the third. Now in hindsight, Jordan, he was the best player from that draft class, and Akeem was second. But looking back on it, I don't think you can say Houston made a real mistake taking Akeem number 1 over Jordan, because again, at that time, Akeem was the clear number 1 overall pick, and so a top 10 player of all time. And when you get a gem like that in the first round with the first pick, you can't really call that a bad pick or a bad trade. The same thing we said for the 2018 draft, as in this draft class, Trae was traded from the 5th pick to the 3rd, and Luka from the 3rd to the 5th. And with that swap, we had the two best players switching teams. And again, when you're still getting the second best player in the draft class, that's not a big time mistake in my eyes, and I think overall is a win-win trade. The big mistake in the 2018 draft was Marvin Bagley going in between these guys at the number 4 spot. And once again, both these players in their careers have overcome a lot of doubters. I think Trae overcome the most, and Luka also in his own right has overcome a lot of doubters with a European white player stereotype. So again, when it's all said and done, this trade was a win-win for both teams. The Hawks got Trae Young, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Mavs have Luka, a transcendent player who can be an NBA legend. So that's my thoughts on the Trae Young and Luka trade, and looking back on it 4 years later. So let me know your guys' thoughts on what you think of this trade. Was it a win-win trade? Did the Mavs win? Did the Hawks lose? Let me know your guys' thoughts, and as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.